Hi, my name is Janae, and I'm going to be discussing a zero-day attack on Cisco firewalls that was discovered on September 25th, 2025, and led to a large-scale compromise of back-end databases. I will cover the technical details of the vulnerabilities, the attacks on the databases and firewalls, then finally the best practices for response. So, what happened? In September 2025, Cisco revealed that there were serious security flaws in some of its security products, the Cisco Secure Firewall Adaptive Security Appliance and the Cisco Secure Firewall Threat Defense. They discovered three major vulnerabilities. The first was a critical issue that allowed attackers to run their own code on the VPN web server. The second was a flaw that let unauthorized users access restricted areas of the VPN web server. And third was a wider issue that allowed attackers to run their own code across those security products and some versions of iOS systems. These vulnerabilities were exploited by what Cisco believed to be a state-sponsored group connected to an earlier Arcane Door attack from 2024. The attackers targeted government and other important networks worldwide, mainly to steal data. The devices they targeted are VPN gateways and firewalls that are directly connected to the internet. If attackers successfully exploited these vulnerabilities, they could gain full control over the firewall and, in some cases, change the system's boot code to maintain access even after restarting. In response, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency issued Emergency Directive 25-03, which required three things. 1. An immediate inventory and forensic checks of affected devices. 2. Disconnecting any compromised or outdated models. And 3. Quickly applying patches to all devices, not just those visible to the public. So why were these network devices the target? A few reasons. For one, they are directly connected to the internet and can often be accessed without any prior hacking. 2, they have high-level access because they monitor and control traffic between networks and handle VPN connections. 3, they're not often monitored very closely and are last priority when it comes to updates. Organizations tend to prioritize updating servers and workstations while neglecting the network devices. So far, this sounds like just a compromised firewall. So why is it considered a database attack? Because the whole point of compromising the firewall is usually to reach internal data, like the application servers and databases. After breaching, the attacker gains full control over the firewall. From there, they can look at the firewall settings and VPN information and use the firewall to redirect traffic into the internal network. Once they're inside, they can further exploit the vulnerabilities by changing or deleting data or even creating backdoors. So, while the initial breach happens on a network device, the real impact is a database breach, which can lead to large-scale data theft, data manipulation, or destruction of important records. On November 5th, 2025, Cisco warned that an attack could cause unpatched devices to keep restarting, which would lead to service outages. This type of attack is known as a denial-of-service attack. The official response focused on applying specific patches, which was required by both Cisco and CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. CISA pointed out that some agencies marked devices as patched, but were still using vulnerable versions, which were actively exploited. This shows that simply being on a newer version isn't always enough. You must use the exact versions that are specified in the advisories. This includes the most granular version number. Version 9.18 wouldn't suffice if 9.18.4.67 was the exact fixed version. Patches had to be applied within 48 hours of their release on both public-facing and internal devices. If any compromises were found, users were instructed to immediately disconnect the devices, but not turn them off, and work with CISA on further incident response steps. If you find yourself in a situation similar to Cisco or at risk of compromised network devices, here are some best practices to follow in order to mitigate those risks. You should always treat all vulnerabilities as emergencies, and they should be addressed quickly. Use a configuration management database or other automated tools to keep track of all of your devices and their software versions. Compare this inventory with vendor advisories and CISA guidelines. Make sure the version you're installing is confirmed to fix your specific vulnerabilities. Don't just assume that the latest version or the one before it is safe. If you apply patches after a breach, you might still have hidden problems, so it's best to follow the incident response plan from your organization. It's also important to make sure you change any credentials that may have been exposed, and don't forget to check database logs for unusual access during the time of the breach. Now, besides just patching, there are also some configuration strategies that can help limit damage if a firewall is compromised. The Cisco breach demonstrated the importance of keeping strict separation between firewall management networks, applications, and databases. Databases should only accept traffic from specific servers and on specific ports. The firewall's management network should not have direct access to the database. It's equally important to enforce strong authentication and role-based access directly in the database. You can even use database firewalls to detect and block suspicious actions from interacting with the databases. As always, don't automatically trust traffic coming from the firewall or VPN as safe. Implement continuous authentication and authorization to keep yourself, your network, and your organization protected. To wrap up, the 2025 Cisco security device attack highlights how exploding firewalls can lead directly to database compromises. Effective mitigation requires quick patching, accurate inventory assessments, and thorough forensic investigations when you suspect a breach. It's also essential to stay aware of emerging threats and coordinate responses with industry partners. You can achieve this by regularly monitoring security advisories from your device vendors and adhering to emergency directives from CISA. By treating firewalls, VPN gateways, and other network devices as high-value targets for attackers and designing database security with the mindset of assuming a breach will happen, we can significantly reduce the chances of a firewall vulnerability leading to a major breach. Thank you